Hey everyone, it's John Moncrief, founder of the Freedom Experience. Today I want to talk to you about the different types of values you're likely to encounter as you work on creating core values for your own business. Patrick Lencioni did a great article some years ago in the Harvard Business Review called Make Your Values Mean Something, and it's really worth a read. I'll add it into the link below, but I want to start by asking you a question. Have you ever walked into a company and you've seen their core values listed on the wall or on a plaque somewhere on a desk, and you thought to yourself, wow, those just feel bland or meaningless or perhaps a little bit dishonest, and you may have had an interaction with a company where, looking at or reflecting on those values, you just didn't have the same experience. And the other thing you'll notice is that a lot of these values have things like customer satisfaction, ethics, integrity. Frankly, the things that you'd expect from any modern business, things that you take for granted in interacting with a business. So as I mentioned, Patrick Lencioni did a great article on this. And in that article, he identified 3 value traps. And I want to talk to you about those value traps today and what authentic core values look like. Because core values are really important for differentiating yourself. They're really important to create a sense of competitive advantage. But if you don't do it properly, your customers and your staff can look at your values and rather cynically, and they do more damage than good. So if you're struggling to uncover your core values, carry on listening, and let's get into it, and I'll tell you about those values you want to avoid and the one that you want to focus on. And that first value that you do want to focus on is your authentic core values. These are like diamonds. They're the deeply ingrained gut principles, deeply ingrained sort of gut principles that guide your organization in the decision making that it makes, in the decision making process. They're the cornerstone of your culture, and they over time have become part of your company's genetic code. So to find these, you really need a push with a kind of relentless self-honesty. And if you're struggling, I have a way of doing this. I've mentioned it before. It's kind of this mission to Mars tactic. You pretend that you're going to go and set your business up on a new planet. We finally found a planet and can get to it that can support human life. There's a rocket to go, but there's only 6 or 7 seats. So you need to choose the best people, the people you love in your business, the people who really display the kind of characteristics that you want in your outpost on whatever planet you're going to. This is going to be the best version of your business, and you want to send the best people to set it up. So list out the names of those people, and then next to them, write the characteristics and the traits and the actions that they take that really speak to what you want this perfect business or this best version of your business to be like. So what are the attributes? What are the traits? What are the characteristics next to each name? Nice list, 7 odd people. Once you're done, you're probably going to have a list of 30 to 15 characteristics. And inside there are going to be your core values. So you need to whittle it down until you can come up with a really tight group of values, maybe 3 to 7 of them that are your company's authentic core values. Now, let's talk about the traps. Okay, number 1, we find aspirational values. These are the kind of values that you want to get there. You sort of would like your company to have. So if you employ a company and you're all a bunch of workaholics and you start talking about work-life balance as a value, there's probably something wrong there. That's more a place you want to get to. Maybe you're feeling burnt out and you're a bunch of workaholics and you'd really like to have that work-life balance, but it's not a core value. It's a strategy. It's something you want to achieve. It's an aspiration. I once worked with a company where the CEO had fun as a core value, and his belief was that I do that like that because it just wasn't in the organization's DNA. But anyway, his belief that life is too short not to have fun, and that when you come to work, you should be having fun, or there should at least be some fun baked into your work environment. And sure, they did, the corporate barbecues and other events, but it really wasn't part of the DNA. And you could walk and you could feel it straight away. I mean, even the staff were cynical about it. So the first time I walked into the organization, I had this feeling that when I looked at this value of fun just really wasn't part of their DNA. It was more of an aspirational value. The next value trap is something we call permission to play values. And these are the values that are expected of any organization these days. So let's go back to the beginning, and we're talking about customer success. We're talking about integrity. We're talking about ethics. The same CEO had ethics on the list. And the story around that was that they refused to hire people who do not care about customers, do not care about partners, do not care about the other people in the organization. In reality, would you hire somebody like that? As you go through your hiring places, you want to make sure you bring on ethical people. So most companies wouldn't hire somebody like that. And I think there you fall into the trap that these kind of permission to play values are the same across every other company, and therefore don't distinguish your company from the rest of the pile. They're not a competitive advantage. Number 3, accidental values that arise spontaneously over time. And what I'm thinking here is those kind of things like we're a scrappy startup, or we embody an entrepreneurial spirit, or we're young and trendy. And those values will get you to where you are now, or may have got you to where you are now, but they're probably not the kind of values that will take you into the future. So think about it. Are you looking for a finance team that's got a scrappy spirit? If you've got 10, 12, even 6 people on the finance team in the future. Same with HR, marketing, whatever. Is that really a core value? And might it do more damage? If you're young and trendy, you may need to employ older people, more mature people to get to the next level, people with families. So think about and try and identify those accidental values as you're going through the process of uncovering and digging for the diamonds that are your real, authentic core values. Once you get down to that 3 to 7, start asking yourself, are these the values that will stand the test of time? Will they be here in 100 years? If we set up the best version of our business on this new planet, so it's a different geographic location, maybe you change the industry slightly. Are these values still relevant? Are these the values that, would we carry these values to the new location, to the new industry? If I sold a business, or if you sold a business and were to set up a new business, would these values fit into the new business? So these are all important questions to ask yourself as you work through finding your true, authentic core values. Hey, I hope you want to share your values below, put them in, tell me about your core values. Be happy to give you my thoughts, my input. And any other comments on core values, add them down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and hope that I see you soon again.